What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today the Chicago Bulls suffered an unfortunate and in many ways heartbreaking defeat against the Miami Heat as one of our own, or one of our former own in Jimmy Butler seals the deal in a step back mid-range to win the game for Miami. Again, a very fun, entertaining game all the way around for both teams, I would say. But to lose in that way, of course, will hurt for most Bulls fans, and I understand that. It definitely does hurt as well that it's a former Chicago Bull, a Chicago Bull superstar in many ways in Jimmy Butler that made a career in Chicago, made a home in Chicago. And at the end of the day, he ended up sending us packing out of Miami. We end up tying the season series against Miami, so it's not all doom and gloom. We have beaten them, they've beaten us. It seems to be a stalemate at this point in time, and I guess unless we face them in the playoffs at some point, which, you know, where the Bulls are right now, that's hard to say that we will. Again, whatever the case may be, I guess we'll see what happens next year. But anyway, before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, the game today, your player of the game, and everything in between. We lost this game 118 to 116. Look, this game was a whirlwind, I'll be honest. I don't really know how else to explain it to you. And it definitely wasn't a unique game for the most part. I think at the beginning, the first half of that game, you saw a couple of guys really stand tall. Torrey Craig, before he got hurt, hopefully he gets better soon because he did end up getting hurt. He did lead the game and he did not return. But he had 16 points in the first half. DeMar DeRozan was doing well in the first half as well. But it wasn't, like, for example, it wasn't very well balanced in the first half. Now, you might look at the stats. Again, there's 3 people with 20-plus points on the Bulls team. And that does look well balanced by the end of the game, but it wasn't always like that. And it was the exact same for the Miami Heat. It was Jimmy Butler with double digits, Kevin Love making 4 threes in the first half, and nobody else really catching up with the Miami Heat. But then you saw in the second half, it was much more well balanced as a team, and they picked things up. So it was a very unique game in that standpoint. But the harsh reality is the harsh reality, man. You can question Jimmy Butler all you like. You can question his ability to score. You can question his three-point capabilities. You can question sometimes when he sells. You know, there was a game where he had the last shot in the game and he sold. He took a very bad shot over 2 people. He missed a shot. The Bulls won that game. But for the most part, Jimmy Butler is a clutch player. He's been a clutch player in Chicago. He's been a clutch player everywhere else. He's a clutch player in Miami. And he sealed the deal against the Chicago Bulls. Made a big-time shot. You know, the G stands for gets. Stacey King says it himself. The G stands for gets. Jimmy gets buckets. And he got buckets today. But I'm very upset with the Bulls in a couple of ways. Now, I'm not going to voice my frustrations to everybody. There were some key things that I didn't like about this game. First and foremost, Billy never adjusted to Kobe White on Jimmy Butler. And I hated this. I hated this so much because it was very clear from the first quarter that the adjustment that the Miami Heat made was that when Jimmy Butler switches onto guards, specifically Kobe White, Jimmy has to be aggressive. Jimmy needs to attack the post. Jimmy needs to go up for layups. It was the clearest adjustment. In the last game against Miami, Jimmy didn't do that. Yes, Kobe White was guarding him, but Jimmy wasn't playing aggressive. He was trying to play make. And that was a big problem for the Miami Heat. And it led to, obviously, them struggling from the field, them struggling with their offense. Jimmy needed to provide that scoring threat. And he did that today. For most of that game, his scoring came on Kobe White. Now, Kobe White's a very valiant defender. He's a very hard-working defender, but a mismatch is still a mismatch. You could put the best defender, the best guard defender in the NBA. You know, you could put him on a guy like, you know, a Jimmy Butler who's a natural forward or a center in Vucevic, and they'll still struggle. No matter what you are in the league, you could be the best defending guard in the NBA. If you're mismatched onto someone bigger, taller, stronger, faster than you, you will struggle. It is as simple as that. And that's kind of what happened with Kobe White. Jimmy Butler is bigger than Kobe White, taller than Kobe White. I don't know if he's faster than Kobe White, but, you know, he's definitely stronger in the post. He has great IQ for a basketball player. Kobe White struggled today. He struggled from the field offensively until the fourth quarter. And he struggled defensively guarding Jimmy Butler. But I put that on Billy Donovan as well, because at some point you have to realize to make an adjustment defensively. Again, In the fourth quarter, when Jimmy Butler made that shot, who was on him? It was Kobe White. And I just don't think that should be happening all game. And, you know, I understand it works sometimes. Maybe other times it doesn't work. This specific game, it didn't work. And in this specific game, you needed to make that adjustment. So I'm upset with that. And that needed to be the first thing to change in my eyes. But even the pick and roll defense, I thought was disastrous today. I mean, the amount of three-point shots that we gave away to Kevin Love because we couldn't switch on a pick and roll, or that we couldn't cover Kevin Love properly in a pick and roll, was disastrous. It doesn't matter if it was Andre Drummond or Nikola Vucevic, they both suffered the same fate today. There's Kevin Love shooting a three over them. And that is something I didn't like to see either. So, poor adjustments on the defensive end, I say, from the Chicago Bulls. That goes to the players and the coaching staff. Obviously, another thing I didn't like, the Bulls were up, and Vucevic took a very bad shot. A very, very bad shot. He tried to pass it to DeMar. He fakes DeMar, drives on Kevin Love, takes a post hook that seemed very unnatural in my eyes, misses it, and then Jimmy Butler goes on to win the game. Whereas if we took just a little bit more time, maybe if you did give the ball to DeMar DeRozan, something could have happened there. I can't help but not see DeMar DeRozan ball out in the fourth quarter of that game, making everything, keeping us in the game. And that, you know, sometimes it works. Isolation, hero ball, whatever you like to call it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But today it was working. DeMar was making every single shot. And when he wasn't making a shot, he was getting to the foul line. Guys couldn't guard him today. And we went away from the hot hand again. And that's so surprising because the hot hand is the guy that always, you know, DeMar DeRozan's taking the ball off of them in many ways. If Kobe White has the hot hand, DeMar takes it out of his hands. When in reality today, DeMar had the hot hand for most of that game and Vooch took it off him. So that's still a big problem for the Bulls, even when we don't necessarily see it as such. We took the ball away from the hot hand today, and that was DeMar DeRozan and Kobe White in the fourth quarter, but mainly DeMar DeRozan. So there's some problems there for the Chicago Bulls that I didn't like. But altogether, I'm still happy with this Bulls team. And the last thing I want to say is that I understand Kobe White had a great fourth quarter. He extended that three-point streak once again, which I'm very proud of him for. He came alive, did some great things, scoring the ball, getting, I think, over 20 points in the game. All that's great. But this game is such a massive growing lesson for Kobe White as well. Miami did the ultimate sign of respect for Kobe White. They put their best defender on him. Jimmy Butler is an all-NBA level defender, and he's a massive competitor. And Kobe White struggled for most of that game. But that is a growing lesson for Kobe White, because if he continues playing this brand of basketball, you're going to see more and more and more teams put their best defender on Kobe White. And Kobe White gets the opportunity to learn and grow from that. And that is something I'm very proud and excited to see. So let's hope we see it. Let's hope we see Kobe White truly, I guess, develop into that all-star level player and truly gets the respect of every other team around the league and have their best players guarding Kobe White. And that makes things better for DeMar. That makes things better for everybody else. If you have that type of threat on your team that puts their best defender on them. And you have quality players all around. So that's good to see as well. It's going to be a good growing lesson for Kobe. And in the end, he still had a great game statistics-wise. So that's good to see. But for my must improve, this is so hard because the easy answer is Dalen Terry, right? But I'm going to pick Javon Carter because he's the veteran. He had 0 points in the game, 3 assists. Not necessarily a good game overall. Dalen Terry at least was able to get some points on the board. I think he had 2 points, Dalen Terry. And I don't really want to target the younger player when you could target the veteran player. And the veteran player that you need to step up in certain situations simply just didn't deliver. They both played similar minutes. I think Dalen Terry played 16 minutes. Javon Carter only played, where's Javon Carter? 12 minutes. Again, pick and choose, but it's one of them. My player of the game, I think I'm going to give it to DeMar DeRozan. I think DeMar DeRozan was the best player. But I also want to give a massive shout out as well to a guy that I didn't even mention this whole video, Patrick Williams. My goodness, was he massively aggressive and massively important with his ability to make shots. How diversified his shots were. Fair play to him. What do you guys think? Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like and a follow and or subscribe if you are new. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care. and peace.